No, please, please, no, no! Quack, quack, mother ducker.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Daytime Cheese, and we are here to get into week 2 of the college football season. We are going to be looking at multiple games this week, once again, and yeah, let's start by going into the first game that I want to talk about this week. So, guys, the first game I want to talk about is Michigan going on the road to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. Now, this is a top 20 ranked matchup. Both of these teams had a pretty easy week 1 as Michigan took down New Mexico 35-17 and Oklahoma took down Illinois State, an FCS school. Now, this is going to be a much more difficult game for both of these teams. Now, Bryce Underwood did look very good in his first start at Michigan, and Oklahoma really looked really well put together this first game. Now, looking at ESPN, they have Oklahoma with a 53.5% chance to win this game and Michigan with a 46.5% chance to win this game. I completely disagree with this specific prediction from ESPN. I do think Michigan will be able to come out on top. I think Bryce Underwood has the talent to go into an SEC school and to take down the Oklahoma Sooners. Michigan is ranked higher for a reason. Now, I said that last week about Texas, and look at how Texas went. So, don't take my word for it, but I could very easily see Michigan going into Oklahoma and winning that game. Now, the next game I want to talk about is the University of South Florida Bulls going into the Swamp to take on the Florida Gators. Now, this game to me is very interesting as a Miami fan because these are Miami's next two opponents. Both of these schools coming off very big wins. USF against a number 25 ranked Boise State, where Byron Brown looked like a Heisman candidate. Now, in Florida's case, they went up against LIU, Long Island University, and very easily took out on business. Now, USF is having a 17.3% chance to win this matchup, according to ESPN. Florida coming in with an 82.7% chance. Now, I have to say I see Florida winning this game. I do think USF will be good this season. I am leaning towards them being my group of 5 pick for the college football playoffs. But I see them getting 2 losses. 1 to Miami and 1 to Florida. I could absolutely see them running the American. I could see them winning out every other game. But these 2 matchups specifically for USF are going to be very difficult. They're both away games in hostile environments. And I don't see Byron Brown and the USF Bulls coming out with a victory in this game. Now, the last game I want to talk about before jumping into my games is the Cy-Hawk Trophy game. That Cy-Hawk rivalry, where Iowa travels over to Iowa State to face on the number 16 ranked Cyclones. ESPN has Iowa State with a 65.4% chance to win this game and Iowa a 34.6% chance to win this game. And again, I have to agree with ESPN on this one. I have to pick Iowa State over Iowa. Rocco Beck has just looked like an amazing quarterback, and historically, Iowa has not had great offense, and that's not going to be good against this Iowa State defense, which is able to stop a very decent Kansas State offense in Ireland for week 0. So I gotta rock with the Cyclones in this game. Now, let's get into the first of my games, which is the University of Miami Hurricanes taking on the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And Miami just came off of an amazing win against what was the number 6 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Hard Rock Stadium. They are now ranked 5th in the AP poll, only behind Ohio State, LSU, Penn State, and Georgia. Not in that respective order, but you get the gist of it. Now, this is going to be a very easy game for Miami if they play the way they played against Notre Dame, which was their defense was stout, their offense was able to move the ball, and they were overall just a great team. Now, if Miami struggles in this game, it is a bit of a red flag, as it would be for most teams losing or in a close matchup against an FCS school, especially since Bethune-Cookman just last week lost 42-9 to FIU, another Miami school. So having that being said, if Miami keeps this game close, it's not going to be a great sign for what's to come in the future for the Hurricanes. Now, what do we see here? Let's look at some of the stats from this season. So guys, let's first talk about the Miami Hurricanes versus the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. One of the first things I want to go over is how many points each team scored in their first game. Miami scored 27 while Bethune-Cookman only scored 9. Let's see how many they both allowed. Miami allowed 24 while Bethune-Cookman allowed 42. And you won't believe who they played. They played the FIU Panthers. They did not play a good squad by any means necessary. Now, I do think FIU will be decent this year. Does not mean that they should be putting up 42 on your head. So, that's just one of the differences between these two squads. Now, if we're looking at this in total yardage, Miami had 332 total yards, 205 of them coming from passing, 127 of them being rushing yards. Bethune-Cookman had a total of 346 yards, 241 of them being in the passing game, and 105 of them being from the rushing game. Now, a big difference that these two squads have is that while Miami was able to recover 2 turnovers, Bethune-Cookman recovered a turnover and turned the ball over once to the FIU Panthers. So, this game is looking like a very winnable and easy game for the Hurricanes. Obviously, coming off of a big win against a team like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Now Miami is in the top 5 in the AP poll, only behind Ohio State, LSU, Penn State, and Georgia. No specific order there. You can look them up if you want. But that's really the deal. The deal is that Bethune-Cookman is not a good squad at the end of the day. So I want to give 3 keys to a victory for both of these squads. For Miami, put the ball in Carson Beck's hands. Carson Beck had an amazing game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There was a lot of calls that he should have gotten going his way, but didn't. There was a lot of calls that should have helped him that didn't. So put the ball in the hands of your quarterback who you know can make plays. The second key to the victory is keep the man-to-man defense. Miami really struggled against Notre Dame in the zone defense. They allowed 2 very big plays because defenders were wide open and found space in between the zone, including a 65-yard bomb to a tight end that almost cost Miami a touchdown. So if Corey Heatherman's zone defense is not working, switch it up into a man coverage, which will probably help, especially against a much smaller and slower and less athletic team overall in Bethune-Cookman. Now, the final thing I want to say here for Miami is that the defense needs to continue playing the way that they're playing. We can't have a situation where Miami's defense returns to how it was last season, which cost us multiple games. Now, I will add one more key to victory, which I want to add, which is continue playing it clean. Miami had a very clean game against Notre Dame, only having a couple of penalties on them. They had 6 for 51. Half of them shouldn't have been on Miami. So, at the end of the day, there was no penalties until around the second half in this matchup between the Fighting Irish and the Hurricanes. So if you could keep the game clean, that's going to be a very big step for your future matchups that are not Bethune-Cookman level. So finally, to my score prediction. Let's go. I have the Hurricanes winning this one 63-6 against the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. They should hopefully get a shutout. I'm crossing my fingers. If we got a shutout last year on a better team with a worse defense, we should be able to shut them out. But hey, we'll have our third strings in by the third quarter. It should be fine. Miami has never really struggled against Bethune-Cookman historically, so I really do think that they will be a pretty dominant force in this matchup. Now, let's get into the Ducks. Now, let's get into the Ducks game. The Ducks are playing their first Power 4 opponent of the season in the Big 12's Oklahoma State Cowboys. Oklahoma State last week played against the UT Martin Skyhawks and won by a final score of 27-7. Not a great game for the Cowboys. They had a total of 359 yards, 232 of those being through the air and 127 of them being on the ground. They did not turn over the ball a single time. They allowed 225 yards, so their defense was pretty good. So, let's see how the Ducks did. Comparatively, the Ducks did absolutely fantastic on the offensive side of the ball. On fourth down, they were perfect. They were 7 of 10 on third down. They had 29 first downs. They had 506 total yards, and the exact same amount of passing yards and rushing yards with 253 each. Neither team had a turnover in these games. So, my biggest question for this game is, it's going to be a defensive struggle. Oregon did allow more yards than Oklahoma State in this Week 1 matchup. Oregon allowed 244, while Oklahoma State allowed 225, which may not be a huge difference, but it is a difference enough for me to mention. So, I still gotta pick the Ducks here. I really don't think, given how I saw the Ducks playing Week 1 and how poorly I saw Oklahoma State playing Week 1, that I could choose Oklahoma State to win this matchup. So I'm gonna go with the Ducks 35-12. I gotta up it for Oklahoma State. They're going to be a very pass-heavy team in this matchup, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the Ducks respond. So, I think I have the Ducks with 35 and the Oklahoma State Cowboys with 24. But yeah, guys, that is my Week 2 prediction video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. And hey, I'm Daytime Keys. I bleed orange and green, and I yellow. Daytime out. Hey guys, editing Daytime here. I just wanted to let you know I am sorry for this video being late, as well as my Week 1 recap being late. I am, as you can hear by my voice, I'm still recovering from the game on Sunday. I had a very tough day yesterday with my voice and a bit of a sickness hangover, whatever you want to call it. I was not feeling well on Monday, so I was not able to edit or record the entire day besides the end of it, and I had to go to bed early for class, so I'm really sorry that this came out late. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and it is just a little thank you, nothing energetic or anything like that. As you can hear my voice, I'm still recovering from all the yelling from the Notre Dame game. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I think you guys enjoy this one, or maybe this one. I'm not good at the YouTuber stuff when I'm not in it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Peace out.